Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope seemingly shades his former teams 2020 Lakers and 2024 Nuggets. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is expected to be the veteran addition that helps the Orlando Magic solidify themselves as a playoff threat in the Eastern Conference. The two-time champion is liking being on the Magic, recently saying that the Magic is the first team where all his teammates have been committed on defense, unlike his previous teams like the Los Angeles Lakers or Denver Nuggets. This is the first team that I've been on where everybody likes to defend. That's exciting for me. It makes me want to compete even more on that end. I'm just looking forward to being that team that's going to be hard to score on. That says a lot in this league. A team that gets stops wins games. The Magic were one of the best defensive teams in the NBA last season, with Pope providing high-level 3 and D play with championship experience for the young squad. But the biggest takeaway for most fans after KCP's comments was the apparent shade towards the Lakers and Nuggets. Fans have hypothesized that this could be a shot towards LeBron James or Nikola Jokic. While James was once a DPOY-level player, he has taken a major step back on his commitment to defense since the latter half of his stint on the Cleveland Cavaliers, with the Lakers building the championship-winning 2019-20 roster with multiple defenders around James to allow him to focus on being an offensive hub and playmaker. Jokic hasn't played a lot of high-level defense consistently in his career. He has proven to be solid defensively in spots. His offensive workload and skill set won't ever have him committed to high-level defense, with the Nuggets also surrounding him with positive defenders to maximize his impact. Pope might love this Magic squad, but it'd be hard for even them to replicate the defense of the 2020 Lakers, who had a 106.1 defensive rating in the regular season, one of the best in the NBA that season. The Nuggets weren't defensive aces for their 2023 title run, but their defensive rating of 110.2 didn't end up matching as they blitzed through the playoffs on the strength of their Jokic-led offense. Pope wouldn't directly call out either star, so he was probably referring to the teams as a whole. The 2020 Lakers were built on an identity of defense, with almost every rotational player being a plus defender, with that defensive commitment reflected in their performances. LeBron was single-handedly creating offense for everyone on the roster and had a stronger defensive season than what he had towards the end of his stint with the Cavaliers. KCP might be right about the defensive commitment as a unit overall, though players such as Anthony Davis, Kyle Kuzma, Danny Green, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, Alex Caruso, and Avery Bradley were all plus defenders. The Nuggets didn't have the same clearly defined defensive ethos that the 2020 Lakers had, but they didn't need to have one either. Jokic doesn't need to be an all-defense caliber center because his offense more than makes up for it, so Pope criticizing him as a player is unlikely. The Magic have a rising superstar in Paolo Banchero, but he's not nearly accomplished enough or offensively gifted to forego playing hard defense like head coach Jamal Mosley wants everyone on this roster to play. Lakers trade pitch lands LeBron James' $215 million star teammate. Several NBA offseason reports indicated the Los Angeles Lakers were interested in trading for another star next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. With multiple first-round draft picks available to trade, the Lakers were seemingly in position to make blockbuster move. Not striking a deal this summer, Los Angeles instead enters the new season with a similar roster to last year's group. That team was eliminated by the Denver Nuggets in the first round, winning just one game in the series. James is entering his 22nd season in the NBA. Averaging 25.7 points, 8.3 assists, and 7.3 rebounds last season, the league's all-time leading scorer is still an elite player. James still being at this level means the Lakers will continue seeing their name in trade rumors that bring back win-now players. A recent trade pitch from Andy Bailey of Bleacher Report sends Chicago Bulls guard Zach LaVine to Los Angeles. In this pitch, the Lakers receive Zach LaVine and Antonio Reeves. Amid a rebuild, the Bulls received Brandon Ingram, D'Angelo Russell, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and 2 first-round picks. As for New Orleans, they land Rui Hachimura, Chris Duarte, Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes, and 1 first-round pick. LaVine is on a 5-year, $215 million contract with the Bulls that expires in 2027. Making 2 All-Star teams in his NBA career, LaVine has career averages of 20.5 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 3.9 assists. Selected 13th overall out of UCLA by the Minnesota Timberwolves in the 2014 NBA Draft, LaVine joining the Lakers would bring him back to Los Angeles where he played his college basketball. Draymond Green says he tries to kill and take LeBron out on the court more than anybody. Golden State Warriors star Draymond Green admitted that he competes with great physicality when he plays against Los Angeles Lakers forward LeBron James, despite their close relationship. "I'm going to run through his chest," Green said of Klay Thompson now that he's a member of the Dallas Mavericks. "Because I used to run through my older brother's chest when we played. There's always this public disdain over me and Bron's brotherhood. I try to kill him on the court more than anybody. I take him out. And vice versa. That's what it is. I'm more apt to run through his chest than Kyrie Irving." Interestingly, Green also said a few months ago that he'd like to team up with James in the NBA at some point. It seems as if Green and James have developed a mutual respect for each other in part because of all the times they've faced off on the NBA's brightest stage, the NBA Finals. Granted, it's been a little while since the 2 players have met in a championship series, as the last time either of them played in an NBA Finals was back in 2022. But for much of the late 2010s, Green's Warriors and James' Cleveland Cavaliers were consistently 2 of the top teams in the league. The Warriors and Cavaliers dueled in 4 NBA Finals during the decade, and James and Green got into it in Game 4 of the 2016 NBA Finals. In the 4th quarter of the contest, James stepped over Green, and a confrontation ensued. Green was assessed a flagrant foul and James was handed a technical foul, but the former's punishment proved to be much more costly. Green's flagrant foul marked his 4th point of the playoffs, and as a result, he was suspended for Game 5 of the series. Without Green on the floor to anchor the team's defense, the Warriors dropped Game 5 at home and also lost Games 6 and 7. To this day, the Warriors are the only team in the history of the NBA to blow a 3-1 lead in the championship series, and perhaps Golden State would have avoided a historic collapse if Green weren't handed a 1-game suspension. Hopefully, James and Green will meet in the playoffs at least one more time before the former decides to retire from the league, even if it isn't in the NBA Finals. It should be noted that Green and James both play for teams in the Western Conference, so they wouldn't be able to cross paths in the championship series. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Draymond Green? Leave your opinion in the comments.